Hello folks, welcome to the Advanced Math Vectors Unit, Part B, Homework Quiz Recap. This is where I go over a question that's very similar to the Part B homework quiz, which means it's similar to the Part B homework. If you haven't taken Quiz B yet, you might want to look at this video first, or if you've taken Part B and you want to do it again and do better, take a look at this video for an example of a similar question. So we're given two vectors, vector A and vector B. And I've written the vectors in component form. So this tells you the vector, the x component of the vector is moving in a positive direction, 2 units, and in a y direction, positive 5 units. The b vector is moving in a positive x direction, 3 units, and in a negative y direction by 1 unit. If I were to sketch these vectors crudely, I would draw A something like this, and B would be something like this. So again, it's this idea that we're going over 2 and up 5, and there's vector A, and vector B is over 3 and down 1, and that's vector B. All right, but we're not going to do this question graphically. We're going to try to do it algebraically. So we're going to do, first of all, find 3A plus B. And I'll rewrite this in component form. So we're going to multiply vector A, which is 2 comma positive 5 times 3, and we're going to add to that the components of B, which are 3, negative 1. So this is actually going to be, if I multiply the 3 into that first vector, it's going to increase its size by a factor of 3. So that'll become, in component form, 6 comma 15, and we're going to add to that 3 comma negative 1. And now we just add like components. So 3 and 6 are 9. 15 and negative 1 is 14. Okay, continuing on, let's look at the next question. This says take vector B and subtract from that vector A. So I'll write this in component form. Now we're starting with B this time, so this is 3, negative 1. And we're going to subtract from that the components of A, which are 2 and 5. And we're just going to do subtract like components, very simply. So 3 minus 2 is 1 as the first component of our answer. Negative 1 minus 5 is going to be negative 6. There's the second component of our answer. Okay, and finally, the expression at the bottom here, vector A inside absolute value bars, and you could say that as the absolute value of vector A, but I think more properly you would say it's the magnitude of vector A. And really what we're saying is what's the length of vector A? And you'll notice I sketched vector A up here graphically, even though I'm not really using that. And the idea is that you've got a horizontal component that's 2 and a vertical component that's 5. And because the horizontal and vertical components are at right angles to each other, I've drawn essentially a little right triangle. And if I want to know the length of this hypotenuse, and I know the lengths of the two legs, I just use Pythagoras. That's all I need. So this is going to be the square root of the leg squared. So one leg is 2 squared, the other leg is 5 squared, which is square root of 4 plus 25, which is the square root of 29. And that actually is an exact result that is the magnitude of vector A. On the homework quiz, you're going to be asked to put that into decimal form. So this would be, using your calculator, approximately 5.4, which is what I would put in as my answer. And there you have it. 3 simple arithmetic questions involving vectors and component form.